Welcome, folks, to Thursday's devotions. It's lovely to have you joining with us. We were thinking on Tuesday, on the very challenging subject of the works of the flesh. And so today we come and look at the more encouraging subject of the fruit of the Spirit. So we're Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 to 23. Let's read this together. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. First of all, the first fruit there mentioned is love. The Greek word here is agape, a word for God's unconditional love for us. And this is a love that God flows to us through Christ. Then we need to see that love flowing through us to other people. Indeed, if our Christianity is real, 1 John teaches us love will be one of the hallmarks of our lives, one of the signs that our Christian life is authentic. Now, this love in many ways is the cornerstone. This love is the foundation in which the rest of the fruit comes from. And if we aren't aware of the love of God, if we're not excited about the love of God, if we're not thrilled with the love of Jesus, oh dear, we're in bother. So let's make sure we experience that love. The next fruit is joy. The Greek word here is chara, similar to the Greek word charis, which means grace. And this is a joy which comes from experiencing grace. It's a joy that comes out of knowledge of the grace of God that comes to us through Jesus. Peter, in his first letter, speaks of how the believer has joy unspeakable, a joy that is beyond words, and that comes from our knowledge of Christ, our knowledge of grace being real within us. And I think maybe that's one of the things in our churches, one of the things in our Christian life, someone can be, we don't have the joy that we should have. Nehemiah tells us the joy of the Lord is your strength. Joy is something that will really empower us in our worship, in our service, in our evangelism. We need joy in the Lord. Thirdly, the fruit is peace. This means God's wrath no longer hanging over us and being aware of it. It leads to a state of contentment and fulfillment. The Hebrew word was shalom, which speaks of a richness of fulfillment, a richness of such contentment. That's what we have with God, knowing that we're at peace with God, knowing this peace within should lead to a peace with others. Are you at peace? One of the great fruit of the Spirit which encourages a believer. And then fourthly, there is patience. This is being long-suffering. This is not losing your temper towards other people. This is indeed being willing to overlook the sins of others and not fly off the handle when indeed they wrong us or annoy us. It's a fruit of the Spirit. It comes from the life of Christ within us. Fifthly is kindness, which means acting in a way that is morally right and useful towards other people. Sometimes what people see as a kind thing could be something that's not morally wrong and it isn't appropriate. Sometimes kindness is indeed not doing that which is useful to others. I think of people and they maybe buy someone alcohol, and that's not a kind thing. That's not a useful thing for people. So kindness is doing what is morally right, what is useful for people. The sixth thing is goodness, which is acting in a way which to bring good benefits to other people, to bring good into the lives of other people. Goodness is what Jesus is full of. Goodness is what he brings to us and which we share with others. And then there is faithfulness. The faithfulness here in this context means acting full of faith. It's being a person of faith. It means not being a person who lives just by sight, but a person who lives trusting in the Lord, trusting in his truth. Number 8 is gentleness, which comes from, the gentleness here comes from humility. It's not pushing ourselves forward. It's meekness, what we're talking about here. It's having strength to do something, but being restrained out of love and grace working in our lives. And then number 9 is self-control. speaks of a moral strength to do what is right despite the desires to do otherwise. Self-control in a relationship with others. Self-control in regards to the desires that maybe come within us, the temptations. The fruit of the Spirit is self-control. Sometimes people, they lose themselves and they just lose control of themselves. So this says it's from the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit is self-control. Look at this list again. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Surely that's a description of Jesus. And if we want to know the fruit of the Spirit in our lives, we need to know more and more of Jesus, spending time in his presence, studying his word, praying to him, resting in his company, worshipping him. We need to pray for more and more of that life being real in us, so that indeed the love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness and self-control will be evident to us. Take time to go over that list and to pray about areas where you're weak on, so that indeed the grace of Christ will enable you to be the person he calls you to be in Jesus. But it's a fruit of the Spirit. It can only come to those who are truly born again. It comes by the grace of God working in our lives. Amen.